Good evening and welcome to Syncretism, the amazing Santos Bonacci. I'm just waiting for him to get on the board here. In the meantime, hi everybody. For those that don't know who I am Kate of Gaia, and I kind of sit in and help out on the board with Santo on Sunday nights and do my own show alongside, Santo's generally there as well, alongside Tony Z on Wednesday nights with Outside the Box. And on Friday nights with Cosmic Blueprints. That's the show that Tony helms. Anyway, like I said, we're waiting for Santo to get here. Blog Talk, for whatever reason, just doesn't like giving up that Skype button, So we have to constantly refresh in order to find it. So in the meantime, I'm not sure what I really want to share with you guys. I was hanging out with some friends, which I don't get a chance to do very often, and it's always treasured beyond words. With Terry and Mary and Pat, Randy, and Jordan and everybody. It was just a beautiful opportunity to sit around and discuss all things that we like to discuss of this nature in a let's get her done kind of scenario. So it was a beautiful weekend. Thank you so much, guys, and for all you do to help so many of us stay in this game. Most of the fight in this game, as I will share with you, is it's not financial. The hardest fight that we come across, and if you want to call it that, it's I don't like using that word, but whatever. Every word means it's equal and opposite anyway, so I'm not really that worried about it. Just kind of give you a scenario here. But the toughest fight that all of us face is not necessarily what people would deem to be a financial one. It's more of a spiritual standing to post, maintaining and holding that frequency for others. And I have to say thank you to so many people that chip in their own way in terms of tagging me through Facebook or tagging any of us, Tony, Santo, myself, Peter, everybody. So we're very grateful for that, for all the kind words. That is fuel to a fire that, as many of you have tuned in over the last, many months. I've been on the air for a little over 5 years now, starting FM radio. Wasn't my forte. I'm a musician by choice, general contractor. Gave all that up 3 years ago, actually today, which is kind of interesting. I made my deal with the universe. So this is the third anniversary, January 13, 2013. So three times, what do they say? 3 times the charm. And that is more factual than most people can realize. When you start understanding the true realm of and the nature of the realm here, that this is in fact a magical place, and we've had the wool pulled over our eyes by choice. There's no absolution of responsibility, at least not for me anyway, in terms of we got ourselves in, we get ourselves out. And as I've discussed on numerous occasions, touched on this a fair bit over the weekend, a lot of us are up against the wall with many things, which is more a measure of how tough we are if we can handle it. And these are all things that we, including what I've been through and Santo and everyone, these were choices, aware choices of coming into a game in a certain, in a certain angle, and with a certain reality and a certain design. And all I'm doing, and the hosts that you listen to generally, all we're doing is showing how our design works. So, and again, I'm still waiting for Santo. This is kind of unusual. I'm just wondering, I will ask him, have you logged in via Facebook? And for those interested, by the way, you can contact me through Facebook. I do reply. It gets very hard some days with the number of people contact, which is okay. It's fine. I'll keep up. I promise. You can get me at kate.rene.5, the number 5, so it's KATE.RENE.5. And I would love to hook up with you guys. As I noticed today, it was kind of, I don't generally check the number of friends that have friended that I'm friends with, and vice versa. But there is, ironically, on today of all days, I have 911 friends. Just a coincidence, though, so don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain. Oh, okay, well, I'm usually not not ready to carry on this long, so we're hoping Santo will get here shortly. Anyway, I think I'll pop over to the chat room for a sec, see what's going on, but I got to keep my eyes on this board here as soon as Santo shows up. Now, you can get to us as well if you want to go to freedomreigns.us. That's freedom, REIGNS.us, and you can click on the chat link if you want to join in the chat room, which we'd love to have you there. It's always a busy place, and we'd just love to hear your thoughts, comments, and questions. Someone had just asked me, yes, Shane, it is a different chat. I do have a Skype room that all are welcome to, and you can get me on Skype as well to join that if you want to, jump in with quite a few other people. You can get me at katie.renee.thompson. That's KATIE.RENEE.THOMPSON. So send me Skype request if you want to get in the room there. Hey, Blake, how are you? And, of course, there's the lad. Everyone's in here. Pleased to meet you. Yeah, everyone's here. Good stuff. And everyone's showing up in droves again. Still no sign of Santo. Gosh, I wish I knew a whole lot more about what he wanted to cover tonight. But anyway, as always, you know what the syncretism aspect is. This is where we've been very diligent in tying all the different facets of holy science, that's astrotheology, law, mathematics, science in general, debunking a lot of the myths. There's a beautiful video right now if you want to spend a few minutes checking this video out. It's not very long, but I'll tell you, there, Santo just got the button. But I will tell you that this video is one that you need to watch because it debunks pretty much everything that Einstein and the rest of the crew ever thought as real. So you can get there. The video is called the Primer Fields. The Primer Fields Part 1, and that's the only part that he's got. It was put out 3 weeks ago, and you'll be chomping at the bit for the next parts that he's announced. And we do have Santo. Just wait for this board to liven up, and there we go. Santo, are you there?
Yeah, I sure am. Thanks, Kate. Yeah, thank you for that. We've got a guest. I've just been helping to get onto Skype too. She should be live too. Should have another hot mic there.
Okay, I've just got you and myself. I've got my eyes open waiting for Jennifer to come aboard. It's Jennifer Gorcak?
Yes.
Yes, so this should be another beautiful, beautiful broadcast, Santo. As always, yep. I mean, the stuff that's coming out, and I'm not just talking what we're doing, but it's coming out all around us right now. The latest David Wynn Miller video that's been going around that I highly recommend people watch. I'm going to start putting the links up as well for people to share, and I'll put those up on my Facebook page. These are things that people really need to be watching, because what you're going to start seeing is how the whole world is changing. And when you see the stuff that David Lapointe of the Primer Fields has put together, it's amazing. I don't know. Have you seen it, Santo?
I just punched it in now, and it's a 53-minute video. Yeah.
That's the one, and you'll
part
be
one.
Yeah, you'll be chomping looking for part 2, 3, 4, and 5 as he mentions them, and it's amazing. You will be blown away. I promise. Yep.
Yeah, that's the sort of stuff I like. I like groundbreaking stuff that debunks all the bullshit. We've had enough of it. Kate, we've absolutely had enough. This world has absolutely been writhing in bullshit from day one, really. Yep. I remember going to see David Wynn Miller about 3 or 4 years ago with my son and my brother, and he was talking back then about these things. You know, he's exposed many things. Exposed how 9/11 happened. He's exposed a lot of things about government and the fraudulent way that they operate. So yeah, David Wynn Miller's got some great stuff to expose. The guy is definitely a genius. I never did follow his system because it was too complicated. You know what I mean? Learning all that syntax and adverb, verb. I just thought it was just way too heavy, since I was doing a lot of research at the time that was also, the result of that now, 21
Yep.
presentations. So, I've been distracted, but in a good way. That I've not been distracted by anything in this world, that's for sure. I've been distracted from things of above. And but David Windmill is certainly someone to research.
Yeah, a friend of mine, no names mentioned here, but a friend of mine has done some work very recently with him and another couple of individuals. And I will be getting a hold of David Windmiller to get him on a show as soon as we possibly can, because like I was saying, and you're seeing it yourself, and I know a lot of people that are tuning into what we're doing are seeing it themselves, that this world is changing faster than I think anyone was expecting. We are in the twinkling of an eye. It's twinkling really quickly right now. It's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. Kate, do you have another hot mic there then?
Not yet. Still waiting. So don't worry. I will be all over it and letting you know as soon as Jennifer shows up on the board here. So she does have the right link, yes?
Yep.
Okay. And you may want to mention to her to refresh the page a few times, as I was saying to the listeners before you got on, that it can be a bit of a hassle sometimes, and that's generally what I suggest people do if you are going to call in through Skype. Is if you're not logged into Blog Talk, log in at least through your Facebook or Twitter. I think you can log in many different ways. That actually expedites the process very quickly, and that Skype button will come up right away. But other than that, yeah, it's been a bit of a nuisance, and obviously she must have something major to share, because they're not making it easy for her to get on, I see.
Oh, well, no, she's a novice at it, but she does have something great to share, yeah, about the treatment of Indigenous... is she there?
Yeah, I just got her. She just popped on.
Can you hear me, Santo?
Yes, we can, Jennifer.
Awesome.
We can hear you loud and clear, Jennifer, so take her away, Santo, and if you need me, I'm here.
Yeah, you beauty. All right, well, first of all, thanks, Jennifer, because it's really short notice to have you on. But I was really touched by your comments on Facebook, and I am familiar with the Canadians, Aboriginal people, and how badly they've been treated. Australia is the same. Eventually, we'll have someone here that will do the kind of work that Kevin Annett is doing over there, and lucky you, because this is also needed here, and it will come out. All things will be exposed. It's a beautiful world that we live in, and it's great when love and justice come around for their turn, and it's their turn now, so let's facilitate everything, the universe. Let's hop on the right side. We really need to be aligned with the right side, the right energies, because people out there have made up their mind. They're in sleep world. They are the dead that are burying the dead, and they're quite happy to stay there, really. So here we are. We've exposed a lot of the darkness that is in the world. It's a very dangerous thing to do, but necessary just the same. So please, Jennifer, can you elaborate on some of the treatment and some of the points that you mentioned on Facebook about Aboriginal people, please?
Oh, absolutely, Santo, and I just want to thank you all for having me today. And
our pleasure. Our pleasure.
Well,
Absolutely.
First of all, I wanted to express that when I was a little girl, about 7 or 8, I'm 32 at this day, but I used to go and visit my father's family, who are the native side of my family, in Saskatchewan, Canada. We used to visit, and my dad's aunt would constantly tell me, "Sweetheart, don't drink the water, don't drink the water." I couldn't understand why. And then one day I went to go and wash my hands after being in their washroom, to turn the water on and realize that it was coming out of the faucet brown.
Yeah. Wow.
And then her telling me that the people who live on their native reserve, they need to drive approximately 40 miles to get clean drinking water whenever they needed it. And at 7 or 8 years old, I couldn't for a moment think or believe that I'd been told my whole life that I live in one of the greatest nations in the world, but yet my relatives are stuck on a reserve with brown water to drink.
Yeah.
That sounds like the Canadian government. Absolutely. Good call.
And then, I'm from British Columbia. I was born here, but in the town I live in, we have the top 5 best water in the world here as far as the quality of it goes. And I couldn't figure out as a child why in the hell my relatives were forced to drink brown water. I knew something was very wrong even then with the government, because I knew the water we could drink it straight out of the tap. It's so cold, so clear, but yet my relatives are drinking brown water. And who gets clean water? If you don't have a vehicle to drive 40 miles, you don't drink clean water.
Wow. And what was, so it's Cherokee?
I'm actually I'm a Cree mixed blood. My grandmother is Cree Indian and Scottish Métis.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Got a bit of fight in you. Awesome.
Oh, always. But what's interesting and disturbing to me all at the same time is I recently just came up with some knowledge. Somebody had put some knowledge on me. The tribe that I'm from actually isn't even Cree. There's no R in the Cree alphabet. I've just been educated lately to understand that the Christians gave us our Cree tribe name. There's no R in our alphabet, which means we were given our Cree name or our label by these Jesuits or these churchgoers, as you will,
Organized crime is the right word for it. Organized crime.
What are we? Because we're not Cree, because there's no R in the Cree alphabet. And I agree about the organized crime.
Yeah. It's been well organized by big money, and the money goes back thousands of years.
Absolutely. The first people that started enforcing and trying to push religion on the natives were the Catholics.
Yes, exactly. Well, they would have been, because that's what they were sent to do. They were sent in their droves, the Dominicans in particular. The Dominicans, that would be another word for the Lord's dogs. And they were vicious. They were the foremost inquisitors in the inquisitional days, which only really ended, officially only ended, like in the very, very late 1800s in Mexico. I think the last official inquisition was being exercised. But I've proven in my presentations, Kate's proven, that the Inquisition is still on. There's no two ways about that. It's still absolutely on. Although there's, right now, in 2013, remains to be seen, but if they haven't all been defeated yet, we'll probably get a little bit of fuss from them for a little bit more, and then they will have to go, they'll be vanquished into oblivion forever. So, hallelujah, the days are short. The days are very, very short. Now, what other sort of treatment have the Indians been getting? Jennifer, I'm sure you've got a lot of stories. Please fill us in, and you might like to talk about Kevin Annett's work. Kevin Annett's just a wonderful human being, putting his life at risk, making documentaries. Everything he publishes, I post far and wide, because I long to see the day that the Catholic Church does not exist. Once that happens, I will be happy, and I will ask to go home, wherever that is. But I'm here on this planet. Believe you me, I'm here to expose all the lies, all of them, every single one of them. And until that's happened, haven't done my work. So please share with us, sister.
Well, that's awesome, Santo. Your page on Facebook actually made my husband and I familiar with Kevin Annett and in the works he's doing right now. Like, I can give you a handful of stories, which I will share with everyone here today. I was living with my best friend of almost 20 years as a teenager, probably from about 14 till about the time I was 17. And I went to school on one reserve and lived on another. The reserve I did stay on with my best friend, it was maybe a stone's throw from a landfill. Stone's throw, I mean like less than 800 feet from her house. How good could that be for the people living in that area to live so close to a landfill? Power lines running all through the property. A landfill literally in the back of her yard. Her animals used to come back from the landfill, wandering off. They'd come home and they'd die because they were poisoned in the landfill from whatever they were being exposed to back there.
Wow.
It's like, seriously, and this is a non-issue for anybody because at the end of the day, they're just dogs, and that's what they'd say. Like, there's power lines everywhere. The water is horrible. Like, the city just in the last few years provided them dumpsters to put their trash, even though the city dump is on their land.
Yeah. They've always treated the Indigenous people like second-rate citizens, animals to be herded into reserves, and that was the attitude from the day go. From the day when Columbus first landed there, killing people. They brought all their diseases purposely too. The Templar folks. The Vatican folks, they knew what they were doing. They brought them along there. The Jesuits are all trained in poisoning, how to poison people. What they do, they're sent all over the world. They are sent to infiltrate all governments, and they have very, very special poisons. And what they'll do, for instance, with one example, with Bob Marley, for instance, what they did was they bought him a pair of boots, and they poisoned a little nail in the tip on the inside of the boot so that it would penetrate his toe and it would kill him. And this was a Jesuit thing, The Jesuits have always been there to snuff out rock stars that are very, very influential with their lyrics as to freedom and sovereignty. The likes of Hendrix, Morrison, Joplin, all these guys were whacked. Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, etc. So you can rest assured that they came to the shores of America with all their poisons, and they would have spread them rapidly just to decimate the land, the inhabitants, and steal their land off them. Big steal, that one.
Oh, huge steal and fine for them, I'd say. It goes down to the bottom line at the end of the day, that even these residential school and the business that happened with that so many years ago, even today in the Native community, I've been watching. They have a Children Family Services program. They have one in every community worldwide, anyways, I'm led to believe. They have a Aboriginal First Nations children's, it's called the Ministry of Children and Family Development is what they call it. And to this day, they are taking Native people's kids away. Is the minute they get your foot in your door or somebody makes a report, I have my best friend had her children apprehended because they didn't think that the house they were living in at the time was big enough to house her and her 5 kids.
Wow. So what they think goes, and they get their little papers and they come out and visit you with their papers. And the way they do this, you see, is they're very tricky. They'll have a summons. Do they turn up with summonses?
Well, what usually happens, Santos, because I have a small tribe of children myself. I have 5 children. And because I'm Native, I am under this jurisdiction as far as this Native Children and Family Society goes. They come to your home, or they try and obtain your phone number some type of way. They call you and let you know that a report has been made as far as abuse or neglect on your children, and they insist on coming to visit your home, coming in, talking to your children, and reviewing the environment you're living in when they come in. And there's absolutely no way around this, telling them, you can't come in my house, you cannot do this. There's absolutely no way around it. And then at the time that this social worker, is actually a title of who's coming in as a social worker, they come in, they talk to you for about an hour, they talk to your kids, they look at the environment of your home, then they decide whether and what they tell their boss as far as reviewing your home and coming for a visit. And then it's their boss who makes a decision whether or not they pursue you as far as hassling you any further, or they give you a paper a few months later to let you know that your file is closed. And from the time they get a report or a so-called report on you, it's about 4 months from the time you get notification that a report's been made to the time you get a piece of mail saying that your file's closed and they need no further action, or they feel they need no further action, or pursue a protection order. And this is what they call it. They say either your children are in need of protection or they're not.
Wow.
And from the time the first report's made to the time they let you know they're out of your life for the time being until the next report is made is about 4 months.
Wow. Deliberately, of course.
Just because you screw up any time in between that 4 month period, right?
Yeah. You know, you mentioned something interesting. They call you, get your phone number, and then they talk to you. The reason they do this is they need to establish a sort of a contractual agreement. They need you to inform on yourself. For instance, one of the first questions they'll ask you is your name, you know. Because they will have something on file with a corporate name. Have they done that with all the Aboriginals there, Kate? Would you know that? Would you know whether...
Oh, yeah. I mean,
exactly.
That's step one. Something else, too, and very critical. We did mention about David Wood-Miller earlier, and what is actually being confirmed is the stuff I've been covering on you must be in the present now. Nothing works in the past and or future. Context. I know this sounds a little confusing, but there's a very specific way that this has been done, and it's unraveling before our eyes right now. But yes, the first thing they want, of course, is your name, aka etymology for way. They want to know if you are serving Caesar or free, and 99.99% of the people will offer up some form of identification, be it self-made or whatever, still proving that you think you're a piece of paper, still proving that you think that you have to give somebody something. What, you cannot see me standing in front of you? That's the illusion. But yeah, absolutely, that's mandatory when it comes, especially with natives. They want to get them into under the treaty as fast as possible, legally binding them with the registered name. And there's other stuff that I'm going to be sharing later this week that will definitely be eye-opening for a few people. Anyone that's playing in the name game, fiction, I don't care. You might say you're not carrying ID, but if you've got a bank account or plates on your car or mortgage or loans or something, you're still acting in Caesar's fiction. So you really have to cut it clean. I've done that. It's not easy, but anyway, it's just you can't find the way until you walk it, right? So that's all I'm doing.
Yeah, if those dear Aboriginal people just knew that all they had to do was remain silent and not give them... Because what's happening is they're looking for you to be... what's the word? They want you to... No, they want you to defend that name so that you too can be in dishonor because you've just committed what's
fraud.
the word? Fraud. Yeah, they want you to commit fraud.
Yeah.
So if someone from the government rings me and says, "Are you Santos Bonacci?" And if I say yes and perhaps give them a date of birth or something like that, I've just committed fraud. That's fraud, because what they are trying to identify is a corporate dead entity, and they want me to put life to that corporate dead entity. This is why I was asking you about summonses, because you can only summons the dead. You see, that's why they call it a summons. And so when you receive a summons, it's not the living, because you cannot summon the living. You can. There's another word for that. What's that, Kate? You might be familiar.
I'm just remember the word. It's been so long. Summons you don't want to answer to. Absolutely not. Definitely fiction. It'll click with me. Sorry, my computer crashed, so I'm still catching up here. One of the things I want to share, and Jennifer, please contact me. I've got some really cool information that will give you some tools to work with regarding birth certificates and registrations and whatever. And something else that through the work I've done with Kevin Annett and with the Indigenous, one of the most trapping things that can happen is a status card. Because it brings you and binds you under the treaty. Binds you as a fiction, binds you as a servant of Caesar, a slave. And one of the standard operating procedures of government, and this applies right across the board, is they will appease the ego by offering trinkets. They did it when they got here, offering these silly little trinkets. And people bought it. They were handy, absolutely, but we've gone well beyond that to the point where living flesh and blood has been duped into death, basically. It's monetized, and that's what it is. The dead, the zombies are holding up this system. Sorry, I let it drop. I hit the ground hard.
Yeah, see, white man with his commerce from the Vatican, because that's all white man is, Western man. That's what we've been reduced to. We are better than that. Of course, we know that. We are divine, but we have been reduced. We've been sucked in big time for hundreds of years. But white man has been reduced to a liar because of legalese. This is why the Indigenous people says white man speak with forked tongue, because what they were referring to was the traps that the white men were setting for the Indians every time they signed something. Poor Indians have got no idea about legalese. Their language is pure and straightforward. When they speak, their word means their no means no, and their yes means yes. But here we've got the Templar bar working together with the evil sorcerers at the Vatican, trying to bring about a new world inquisition or a new world order, same thing, and they brought it to the Indians, you see, and they said, sign here, sign there, and this is what we're talking about, and this is what we're saying, and yet it was saying something else. That's the forked tongue. How many people have fallen for that forked tongue? It's called legalese.
Yeah, even the language itself, as a word, it's a double edge, right? Every word means it's equal and opposite, and I can break every word down. So the trickery runs long, it runs deep, and it preys upon honorable beings. You see, the thing is, only the honorable can get duped because they're trusting, and only the honorable get duped because of that trusting, and they enter into agreements and contracts unbeknownst to themselves. I mean, these are all done in deception and fraud to begin with, and we've been working diligently to expose that fraud in all facets. I mean, look what you've been doing with religion and synchronicity and the holy science, and teaching what the Bible is actually really saying. Look at the masses of people on this planet that actually think that there's some guy in the sky with a penis and a beard. Like, can someone please explain to me, please? And this is my challenge to everyone. What exactly does a god need a penis for, i.e. calling it male? that one has boggled me since a child. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm being very real. That's a very real question. Please tell me. Can someone please tell me? And I want to see this God have a baby with that. All by itself. It can. Anyway.
Yeah. So Jennifer, you've seen these crooked things firsthand. What hope do you hold for your people, and how do we help them? How do we get to them? And Kevin Annett's one, and he's doing great work, but we need hundreds and hundreds of more to enlighten your people to be able to get out of the traps that have been set for them, constantly traps. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on this whole thing, Santo, is I just became aware that I'm a non-status native, by the way. Apparently, they said that my Indian didn't make the cut for a status card, which is fine by me. I don't want to have another piece of ID issued by the government. They are now allowing people to get status cards without proving your family history. Me, I don't care. Like I said, another piece of paper from the government, putting me in bondage further. But what I would like to see happen is more rallies, more protests. I want to keep it going. Today, we were told at the protest we attended at noon today in my city that there were 600 Idle No More protests going on within Canada today in 600 communities.
Yeah, we need to get this out there. Canada's on fire. There's protests everywhere. Things are really heading up in your country, and the media is dead silent about it. There's so much action in your country. People are so awake there.
And the media is refusing to cover the whole Idle No More thing. And what's sad is, our chief that is, going on the hunger strike right now about, her cause, our cause, she started on December 10th, I think, is when she started. But, all because the Prime Minister refused to meet with her about these issues and things going on that she wants to express. She wants things changed. She wants a change to occur. So on December 21st, our Prime Minister Harper tweets, bacon. I feel that was aimed at mocking the chief for her hunger strike.
Well, again, can you do me a favor, Jennifer, please? It's not that criminal that's in Ottawa, Stephen Rip You Off Harper. It's not.
Oh, yeah.
I don't refer to him as anything other than the criminal. I don't call him things like my Prime Minister. I'll tell you, this is just a thought. I'm going to offer this up to you. Maybe you can get the word out. And the only way this is going to stop, you want to have a real protest? Then you get everyone that is part of this to burn their ID. That's a protest.
Get rid of them.
Get rid of
them. Everything.
All of it.
I agree. It's the first step to being a free man or woman or individual.
You want to go to hell? Get some ID. They will send you to hell. That's why they dangle these things like carrots in front of you. Oh, you can have this and you can have that. Yeah, you can. And you can have all of the slavery that comes with it and the demon worship of all of their idols. It's idol worship pure. There's only one thing that exists, and that's you. And you live in the universe and you're free. And that's it. So why do you need an ID to do anything? Folks, we need to really wake up to this. Get rid of their papers. It's their Baal worship. They worship a false idol, and they are on a road to destruction. Bad, really, really bad road. They're on a bad road. It's so bad you got no idea how bad it is. And we are on the free road. We are on the free road. We have awakened. That's all we need to do is maintain this stance. Stay awake. Do not go back to sleep. That's all you've got to do. Persevere until the end, and you will be saved. And salvation, what is it? Well, it's many things. But first and foremostly, you get to be an immortal. That's what salvation has to do with in the end. It has to do with reaching immortality, which we have the seeds of right now. We are all immortals in that we have the seeds, but we have to plant those seeds in good soil. And having any kind of ID that belongs to their corporate, commercial, criminal structure will prevent you from walking the freedom road. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Son, I will add, people are, well, how am I supposed to do this? And how am I? Oh well, then don't cry. If you don't like the system and you have ID, you are the jackass with a carrot in front of you following it. And this is I'm not going to pull any punches on this shit anymore, Santo. I have walked for over 2 years without ID. Have been through the mill without ID. No bank accounts, and something else I want to bring up. Caught a bit of I love these rumors. Probably the same entities again. Guys, I don't have a donate button anywhere. For the simple fact, I don't want anyone to think I'm ever going to get tainted. And if I go down, I'm going down fighting, and it'll be on my terms, no one else's. So if you want to really play the game here, you'll stop playing in the silly little court. And I will say, people like Dave Wynn Miller and a bunch of others that can do this and are actually working it from that angle. That's their job, not yours. Your job is to, all you have to do is hold on. Your job is to start changing the world within you instead of worshiping Caesar, because every piece of id entity is exactly that. It is a fictional id. The ego, the id. I mean, the ego can be useful to a certain extent when it's leashed, and unfortunately, most people that's their kraken. They unleash that one, and they end up getting in all sorts of idiot situations trying to justify this and that. There is no justifying the wholesale slaughter of natives in Canada, in the U.S., Australia, all around. Every time the Christians showed up with the Jesuits showed up with their bloody red cross, and I mean that literally, they slaughtered wholesale. And if they didn't use the sword, they used disease. Documented facts of smallpox deliberately being infested into blankets and given to native children. This is the kind of, if you're carrying ID, those are your buds. The guy that's hanging out in Ottawa called Stephen Harper, he's your bud too. And you might as well start posting comments like him, bacon, That's exactly what you're supporting. Sorry, Santo, I'm in a take no shit mood, and I'm staying there. So all we got to do is hold on.
Well, you know me and my stance about killing animals to survive. Anyone who says bacon is a moron. I mean, how can you enjoy bacon? Pig's bums? Isn't that a pig's bum? I mean, last time I checked, bacon comes from a pig's bum. You want to eat pig's ass? You can eat pig's ass. You can eat their poo too. I mean, you can eat any animal you want if you want to be an animal. Animals eat animals. Simple as that. Humans, we were not supposed to eat animals. Things with blood and fully developed cerebrospinal systems and will and intent. You look at your animals. Take a look at your animals and you'll see the intelligence there. Why do they long to live? And they love life. They love playing. And we come along because we're too lazy to grow some onions, and we want some pig's bum. Bring on the pig's bum. And it smells like shit. I mean, bacon, how does anyone eat bacon? I mean, it is the most disgusting. It tastes like leather. It's full of grease and fatty shit. It just shows you what sort of a moron this Harper guy is. To animals, cooking, burning on some hot plate, killing an animal and cooking it, and it smells good, and it's I don't think so.
Can I take it one step further, guys? There's a reason why they use the pig to get insulin and have actually used pig's hearts in transplants for humans. It's because the pig is the closest in the DNA chain to the human. So you are literally, that's why they call eating slaves natives, and they did this. That's the whole idea behind Fish on Friday, was to try to wean the Jesuits and all the rest of these murdering entities, to wean them off eating human flesh, aka natives and slaves. And it was also, and you can look this up if you want, it was called long pork. So if you're eating pig, you're eating the closest thing to human flesh you can find on this planet. So enjoy, eat up. Yummy, yummy. Way to go, Steve. You just told us that you're a cannibal. Love it.
And besides, when you look at people that eat a lot of pork, that have eggs and bacon in the morning, you can see it in their skin. Their skin is hard, and and you can just see all the torture of those pigs that you've ingested into your body. You can see the tortured look on people's faces for eating animals, and all the karma that they put into their own bodies for being a part of the suffering of animals, the immense suffering. And this is what they've done to human beings, people. This is why this woman is on the hunger strike. Please, can we have her name again, and let's get it out there, folks. Let's tell the world about this hunger strike, and let's tell the world about the plight of Indigenous, beautiful, human living souls. Why? Why do they need to suffer? Is there a reason why Indigenous people really, really must suffer, and they continue to suffer down to this day, since the time that we slaughtered them and stole their lands and deliberately injected them and with poisons and diseases to decimate them, and we're still doing that? We still can't say sorry and get on with our own lives and just let them take over the lands that they really, really own? We still have to play this game. For who? I think it's for the paper people at the Vatican. It's all their little papers that dictate how much people should suffer. When their papers go out, they tell how much one should suffer. You imagine how many times people have been terrorised when they receive a summons in the mail or a warrant for their arrest because they've broken one of their codes or one of their little papers, one of their little ideas. Can you imagine, who is it? Who is behind all this, that is harvesting all this suffering and enjoying the energy that comes from it and doing whatever they're doing with it? I think they're controlling us with it, or trying to. Well, let's show them, folks, that we are not controllable. We never have been. We never will be. We will not be controlled by papers. Stephen Harper's, whoever it is, Gordon Brown, they're all morons, they're all criminals, they're all being paid by the banks to perform crimes against us and Indigenous people. So we need to really just talk about the way forward. The way forward is exposure. So let's hear these names, then let's talk about this lovely woman and give her energy so that all the listeners know who she is, know her name, and know the criminals that are perpetrating crime against her, please.
Yes, we're talking about Chief Teresa Spence here from the Atawa-Piskat First Nations. And she has began her hunger strike, I believe, December 10th of 2012, and she is still on her hunger strike today. She is drinking tea and fish broth for her hydration to keep her alive.
Great. Are there any articles about her and what's going on? Let's get those out on Facebook. Let's tell the world. Let's show people what a piece of shit government Canada's got, just like ours. Julia Gillard's another criminal. She's an evil, sly, and she should come out with the fact that she's lesbian. Why does she need a beard to hide that she's a lesbian? I mean, Jeff Rentz 4 or 5 years ago exposed it. I mean, if you want to be a lesbian, that's great. Be honest. I've seen Julia Gillard at the football, She turns up at the grand final with her lover. You can see her sitting like 45 degrees behind her everywhere she goes, and then she's got her beard husband, And it's funny, but you can tell that something's really, really going on there, the way they've set it up. So be honest. Why are they dishonest about this? And then they do things like, supporting, pretend to support all of these marginalised groups like gay rights and gays wanting to be married and things like that. All they're doing is absolutely just instigating more trouble and getting gays to be married so that they can have control over them too, because originally gay people are uncontrollable because they know who they are, and that's why they choose their preferential sex habits, because they know that they are what they are inside. To the contrary, you see religions, churches, full of gay people that are pretending to be straight because God can't stand gayness, right? So, according to their books. So you've got all these people suffering immensely because they don't know who they are, and they're not acting in harmony with their sexual preference, for a start. So it's obvious, again, this is another trick to get gay people now. Get them married, and so that they can lose their rights too. Just like, just like they did with the Rockefellers did with getting housewives into the workplace so that they could tax more people and divide families even further so kids wouldn't have their one parent at home to look after them, etc. So, Jennifer, if you have articles on that, please put them in the chat box there for us, and Kate and I will do our utmost to get that to all of our communities and get it out there. Let the people know, and let the Canadian so-called government be shamed. Their days are numbered. Stephen Harper won't be around for much longer, neither will Gillard. They will be dethroned, and it will be a very, very sorry day for them, but a very happy one for us.
Well, that's, the thing, right? And I think that's a huge part of the reason why he has refused to meet with Chief Spence so far. The meetings, as far as the Harper government and the Native Chiefs of Canada, just happened on Friday.
Right.
And he's actually said a couple of things, like I'm just trying to find here. I'm trying to flip through my phone and use my laptop at the same time, but he refused to meet with her for, about a month, knowing this woman's starving and all she wants to do is have a meeting with him. And that was her whole hunger strike, just meeting with him.
Wow. That's amazing, isn't it?
And all she wanted to do was talk. And he would not even clear his schedule for even an hour to meet with this woman.
Oh, of course not. He's got, squash, a little racquetball.
He's got meetings to attend and you know what I mean, personal budgets to rack up while he's traveling,
And let me just put in, as disgusting as it may sound, I know it's 100% true. He'd be raping a whole bunch of little boys. He'd be a pedophile. There's no two ways about it. He can come at me and sue me for saying that, but I can guarantee you he's a pedophile. They're all pedophiles. That's how they get there. They get their jobs, and we have to raise our voice against pedophilia and stop them. We've got to stop them in their tracks. There's pedophilia goes all the way up to the Queen. She's a pedophile. Her husband's a pedophile. They are children eaters. We've got to stop them. We've got to stop them harvesting us now. And it's high time. It's absolutely high time. They're disgusting with their pedophilia. They've stolen so many Indigenous people simply for the purpose of, abusing them by killing them with diseases and pedophilia and all sorts of crimes. And that's because they are base, animalistic, low-life evildoers that need to be shamed and possibly able to help them to repent. But if not, what I'm saying, guys, is absolutely true. I am not one of these heaven and hell type people that come out of your churches, but I do know that the concept of heaven and hell is absolutely real, and you can make your heaven and you can make your hell. These people are making hell, they're teaching hell so that they can perpetrate hell. That's why the churches, the foremost teaching of churches, corporatized churches, call themselves Christians, is the teaching of hell. Why? And the devil. So that they can continue being hell and the devil, because that's who is the devil. They're telling you about themselves. They're telling you that they want this teaching about hell and the devil, and it's one of their favorite pet teachings because that's their business. That's their stock in trade. They terrorize you, you get scared, you join their pedophile, hierarchical Jehovah club, because they've got this bearded penis god that's angry at the top, and they all bow down to this frickin' moron that they've invented. Nonetheless, folks, please take to heart, embrace the light, because the darkness that is coming upon these entities and the places to where they go. I can read to you from Pythagoras, I can read to you from Plutarch, any of the great ancient philosophers. I can read Dionysius, Orpheus, I can read Hermes, Tat, any one of them, and they talk about this dark place. And they warn people, they say, please do not practice lusts and vices and sensation and all of these things. Please be forewarned. Do not end up in one of those places. Because what happens is, in these cycles of necessity, is that we continue to suffer and we continue to be in misery until such time as we liberate ourselves. And these people are driving it. They're driving the business. The Vatican's very, very wise and smart. They've recruited all the lower castes to join the crew and cast of killing other human beings. But they are all unevolved. Rest assured, people, rest assured that most of your police officers and army boys that don that uniform, there's not much philosophical evolution in those men. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment about that. We've all been through that. We all have to be empty vessels at one stage in our evolution as we embrace divinity. And when we look around and we see people fighting in wars and police officers sending young boys to jail when they prosecute them in the inquisitional courts, and they go to jail and end up being raped and depressed and commit suicide, you can rest assured that these people are perpetrating the wicked schemes of the Vatican, and it's time for them to stop and repent. Because even though they might be empty-headed and they might be foot soldiers, they have got a future. We all have. Everyone has a future as they repent and embrace the light. Now, these are philosophical concepts. I'm not talking as a religionist. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying, because the urgency of these things is still there, folks. We still are. Yes, it's a game, it's a ride, but we still are in a very, very important controversy here, and that controversy is whether we will embrace the light or whether we will embrace the works of darkness. Because only those who embrace the works of light shall be saved. So, continue on, Jennifer. I know we are talking a lot here, but we're just trying to put things into perspective here, because it's horrendous when you think, how can you be an indigenous group of people that are living on your own land for millennia, probably, hundreds of thousands of years you've been evolving, with your beautiful religion and your beautiful knowledge of the Great Spirit, and then all of a sudden some guys turn up with some flags, some bits of paper, some poisons which turn out to be diseases that will decimate you, and that was the end of your peace. How can we actually live in a world like that and sleep comfortably at night and not give it any thought? How can we watch the Hollywood productions where it shows the Indians to be killers, they savages and they attack white people's communities and etc. and they're savages and they're below human, and they deserve to be killed. They don't have schools like we do and all of this crap.
Absolutely. That was their whole agenda behind getting the residential schools in order and whatnot. What makes them think that the natives were living so poorly before that they had to just come in and intrude, if they had 6 children, take them to the residential school, and then when their kids came home at the end of the year, they'd get half of them back because of the death toll rate in the residential schools was at about 50%.
Yeah, we've covered those numbers. I've been around Kevin for about 4 years, and worked very close in that. And just letting people know, actually, thank you, Wanda, so much for posting those links in the Skype room. I'm getting them up on Facebook as fast as I can get them on there. What I will ask people that are listening, again, posted them on, started to post them on School of the Holy Science at Santos page, and of course on my own page, kate.renee.5. What I would ask you to do, if you want to make a difference tonight, this is all you got to do. Do a little drag, copy, and paste thing, and get this stuff viral. You want to get this information out to people in a hurry? Well, we have the tools to do it. We have Skype, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have all of these avenues. And again, I know there are tens of thousands tuned in tonight. I know that. I see the stats. We had Friday night, Santo, we ended up with 82,800 tuned in. So it's not that people aren't hearing what we're saying. Okay, what we need to do, the numbers are climbing. What I need the listeners that are listening right now to do is get a little proactive. I'm not asking you to go out and stand on get burned at the stake here. Okay, that's passé. They did that. They can't do that anymore. You got to lose the fear. And if you are afraid of copying and pasting and clicking and sharing these links with everybody, you've got a long way to go. And Santo, you know the kind of people I like to email, and I don't mince any words with them either. I like emailing the president and the prime minister and the queen and the pope and the rest of those criminal elements. And remember this, guys. Yeah, the bank that you were supporting is the tool. They're not the cause, guys. That's the tool that they're using to enslave us. And the longer you play with that tool, the longer you're a slave. And we can take this thing down in a heartbeat. All it's going to take for you to do is stand. And if it means actually having to copy paste a link and passing it around, keep your money. Not interested. Okay, you can keep your debt. That's fine. What I will ask you to do is use a bit of that beautiful intent that we as ye are gods creators have, is to put it out there. That's what changes the universe. Exactly what Santo was talking about. This is exactly how we do it individually and collectively. We're all on the same page here. If you want to stay in the book, then you better do something. And I'm telling you, there's a woman's life at stake here. All right, so get the word out or be responsible. Your call. 2 roads. There's your fork in the road. 2 roads you can take. Are you willing to stand back, do nothing, and watch someone who is putting their own life on the line? And many of us have. Okay, many times. And if you're going to sit back and think that you're going to benefit from that, and you're benefiting from what we're sharing with you guys freely, countless times a week, and you can't do that, well, then you've got a serious issue with your mirror, and you need to spend some time in it. Rant over.
Yeah. Well said, Kate. Thank you. We can do this. We can do this by it's so easy. We don't even have to protest. We don't have to do any of those things. All we have to do is stop communicating with this so-called government. It's not a government. It's clearly they are pirates. They work for the biggest pirate family in history, the Saxe-Coburg-Gothas, currently known as the Windsors, and the people who own the Vatican, the Farnese family, the Orsini family, the Somalia family, all of these Egyptian, Roman, Mediterranean families that have all the money. Yeah, these are the families. We need to go after them. Pepe Ornesi is is pretty much like your David Rockefeller is in America, over in Italy. The difference is Pepe Ornesi is the grey pope and more of a killer and more of a pedophile than his counterpart. David Rockefeller. David Rockefeller would be a pedophile like you got no idea how many little boys he'd have raped and murdered in his own little house. And he can come and try and get me if he wants. He can send his Jesuit buddies. He can do that any time he likes. But the facts are the facts. They are pedophiles. They are obscene, and we look at their little envelopes when they send them to us. And they even commit fraud by using our corporate names. They even commit fraud themselves. This is how fraudulent they are. These are absolutely base animals, and we are paying homage to animals. Rest assured, folks, and I'm not being harsh here, they are of the low caste people in government. There are a few that are of high caste, you know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that guys like Kucinich and I might even be wrong. He might even be one of them, but he comes across as a really, really highly philosophical and good-hearted man. And the same with the runner for what was his name, Ron Paul, guys like that. So one or two good guys get in there. They let a few of those through, you see, and they let them in the police force too. You know, there's good policemen there. There's some gems, but they also recruit the animals, and I mean animals, folks. Don't be deceived that when you see a human being that inside is a fully developed spirit and soul of a human being. Please don't. Please do not. Because they are vicious animals. Animals kill. Look around. Is there killing going on? Yes, there is killing going on. Young animalistic American boys serving Blackwater and Halliburton going to war, and you can go to YouTube and you can see how much fun they are having with their bazookas and their automatic machine guns, and how they mow parents down while they're bringing their little children to kindergarten in the morning on a Sunday morning, and you see these boys gutlessly hiding behind, severely destroyed walls of brick and mortar, and they're hiding in places where they can't be shot at, and they've got all of their ammunition and their beautiful high tech, which comes from the military-industrial complex. Hello to all the listeners who work at the military-industrial complex. There'll probably only be one or two or three of them, the trolls, because most of our listeners are amongst the high-minded, highly evolved creatures that are headed back home, without a doubt. But there will be trolls that are working for this other beast. Rest assured, folks, that Goliath is going down, and it's going to be little old David that's going to bring him down. And that's you and I. We are little? Yeah, we are. In comparison to the machinery they've got a lot of machinery.
So we outnumber them 1,000 to 1.
Absolutely, and we have the whole universe on our side. There was a prophet in the Bible, I think it was Elijah, and he was all miserable because he was all alone and Jehovah had left him. And so Jehovah turns around and says, no, look around, have another look. Look up at the mountains. And he looked around, and 360 degrees of angelic chariots waiting there, with angels and armies of angels. And he saw this vision. And, of course, Jehovah from the heavens says, don't you think that you can have access to all of this help anytime you want? The universe is with you. The point of that scripture is that we are microcosms. We are galaxies, part of great galactic systems, but we also have galaxies in our bodies. We are carrying galaxies of stars. They're called atoms, erroneously by scientists. We call them atoms, but they're thought waves, electric thought waves. That's all it is. That's all our body's made up of, electric thought waves. That's it. And that's what we are. We are this great galaxy, and here we are communicating, intergalactic communication, because I'm talking, and there must be thousands of listeners, and that's thousands of galaxies that are tuned into this galaxy. And we think we're scared of these types who work for very, 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 very dark and weak-minded and very unevolved animals. That's what they are. I can guarantee you. Pope Benedict Ratzinger is not a human being. He has never known what it is like to have... Well, he did know from when he fell, because we all fell from unconditioned consciousness. But in the cycle of necessity, I can guarantee you one thing. Ratzinger has not reached human. He's an animal in a human being's body. That's what they are. Bush, that whole family, the lot of them, they are animals in human beings' body, deceiving us. They're intelligent. Oh yeah, animals are very intelligent, but they're not conscious. They don't have the consciousness of divinity, or what's called a soul. That's why we call them soulless. And you can see their cold, chilling eyes. You can see that there's no soul there. They love death. They love the smell of it. You know, look at Hillary Clinton when they killed Gaddafi. You know, see the joy. Go back and have a look at the image of the joy and the glee because death is happening, and we're having an operation in Libya. We're doing an operation with our partners. That's what they call wars these days, folks. Operations with partners. So France is a partner of the US, and we're going down to Libya, and we're going to, we're going to do some tourist stuff down there and help them with a little bit of democracy. We don't like the fact that they've got a dinar, they've got free homes, free education. We don't like the fact that they've got all of their retirement sorted out, that they've all got gold in the bank. That doesn't work in with the World Bank and the IMF. We like people starving to death. And that's what they did everywhere they went. That is the model of terror. And are we going to take it? They've been incarnating from the dark satellite. The dark satellite, listeners, is the place where the archons dwell. The archons are these very wanted and very hated entities in this universe that hide behind governments, and behind these ruling families. And guess what? The dark satellite is receding, and it's going to apohelion, which means it's disappearing. It's going bye-byes. In fact, since 1881, it has been receding. And so what you see is that these archons are losing their grip on the financial elite, and now they are starting to turn on each other because they don't have support. The support system has been evacuated. It's quite funny, really, because we're gonna watch the unfoldment of evil before our very eyes. It's really, really a pleasure and a joy. You know the joy you get when you, at the end of a 2.5 hour epic movie, and the baddie has been killing people left, right, and centre, and then eventually one of the people who was hurt by the baddie when they were a child grows up and catches up with the baddie and kills the baddie, right? And avenges the death of his father and all of that other stuff and all of that, and you kind of feel satisfied at the end of that film, and you think, well, justice was done, and you go to bed and you sort of cuddle up to your pillow and you feel quite satisfied on a plane. Yeah, I mean, it's no death is good at all. You know that, but justice was met, and you kind of, on one level, you feel satisfied, right? Well, kick back and, throw your shoes off and enjoy the presentation, folks, because you're going to see in every way evil eat itself to death. You're going to see them eat each other, and their true colours is going to manifest until they disappear, and they will disappear because the light that is coming upon the planet is unbearable for them. Remember the vampire movies, right? You know what happens when you shine a light on them, don't you? Oh man, they screech and they squeal and they run for the darkness. This is, in fact, reality. This is telling you how it really works. And the vampire families are the families that I've just mentioned. Let's name them, you know. Let's have some fun. The Hanovers, the Habsburgs, the Saxe-Coburg Gothers, the Medicis, the Guelphs. We know who they are. We know when time comes to, see justice, we know your names. We know Pepe Orsini is a pedophile, the Grey Pope, a killer, and a murderer. So let's have a jail sentence. Let's put the guy in jail. We can do it. Of course, with lots of love and forgiveness, but they must be in jail because they will not repent. Unless they say, hey dudes, looky here, we've repented. Ha. We're going to stop eating your babies. We're going to stop all of the people trafficking, all of the drugs that we make and put out on the market to poison your children, Big Pharma. We're going to stop vaccinating your children in hospital. Guess what? We've stopped. Then in that case, there won't be any jail sentences, will there? Because we are loving. But it looks like the jail sentences are coming, folks. So let's enjoy the justice. I mean, on one level, we need to get some satisfaction, don't we? Doesn't accountability have to be shown, some kind of responsibility? Don't we have to stand up eventually one day and say, hey, God, we did live on the same planet with all those starving children. Yeah, we had popcorn. We had plenty of popcorn and TV at night, though. We had our heaters turned on. Yeah, we know that 40,000 people a day are dying of starvation because the Rothschilds wish it to be that way, and we don't put the Rothschilds in jail because we've got our Adidas sneakers. So we're comfortable. So let the pirate Rothschild family continue, shall we? I mean, as far as I know, most of them are not in jail. Is David Rockefeller in jail yet? I don't think so. Pepe Orsini's still kicking around. There's a guy called the Pope that's still raping little boys every day, all these little choir boys. Is he not? Folks, there's my rant, and I think I've been pretty kind to them too on a level, you know. A lot of good people are in jail is what I'm saying. The jails are full of young boys and girls who have done nothing. Absolutely nothing. And guess who's out there raping more of them and sending more of them into jail? The ones that should be in jail. 90% of people in jail should be free. 90% of them, at least. 90% of them. They are in there for statutory so-called crimes. And this is murderous. Oh yes, but we've got popcorn and we've got lots of nice movies to go and rent, and we can watch movies and turn the heater on because it's cold outdoors.
Something
anyway.
else, Santo, I do want to bring to the table here as well, with regards to these money-making prisons that are getting built everywhere. That's all they are. They're effectively factories, and supported by places like Walmart and all the rest of these discount stores. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to do a whole lot more research on this, but a lot of the stuff that's being made in the prisons, things like, everyone thinks that it's license plates. No, guys. They're in full production, paying the typical salary of an inmate of 26 cents per hour while they dip into their bonds at a rate of $1,000 a day, getting them working in sweatshops, making things like refrigerators and stoves and flat screen TVs, and being marketed under the guise of made in China. So here's something that you can really start to do is enough of the consumerism. See, consumerism, right? the whole attitude that people have been, have bought, like taking it hook, line, and sinker, is this whole materialistic aspect of, I've got to have the nice TV, I've got to have this, I've got to have that, I've got to have the other, and never once stopping to take responsibility for, one, who's making it, two, are the people making these things being harmed. So when you go out and you're looking for that deal, at Walmart or wherever, you might want to stop and consider where it was made, because chances are it might not be exactly where you think it was made based on the label. I'm going to do some barcode researching, tracking, and I know there's people out there that can do that as well. I know we're getting off topic a little bit here, but this is exactly how we can help each other, by taking this monster down and giving everyone, natives, everyone, a foothold, and that's all it takes. But you got to stand. You've got to. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. And I'm sick, sore, tired of watching everybody looking around thinking that, well, that's not my problem, that's somebody else's. Oh, okay, yeah, some chief is on a hunger strike. Yeah. Well, like you were saying, I've got my popcorn on my video, and I'm going to tune into a truth radio show so I can feel justified in trying to, looking like I'm making a difference. When in fact, who's making the difference? It's up to you. It's not up to us. We're already doing what we're doing. And for those that have tuned in, like I said, in the tens of thousands, we must be saying something that's resonating. So how about we resonate this? How about we stand together instead of going, go Kate, go Santo, go Jen, go everybody else, go. And why don't you start using your own name and saying, go John, go whoever, okay? Start chanting your own name. Start making the difference at your position, because until you do, the next slave that gets marched up the line will be you. And there's nothing that we can do about it, because we're doing everything we can right now. And that's it. There's nothing more I can do. There isn't. This is all I do. My entire life was given up for this. And I mean that at a level that most of you won't even have a notion of comprehending. I'm not asking you to do that. It's already been done. You don't have to. We've already worked and found truth. And we're working harder and faster to find even more. All we're asking you to do is step up. I'm not asking you to hit a home run, but at least swing the bat. Just swing.
Hey, Jennifer, how can we, what else can we do to support, what was the name? Let's talk more about this, the chief that's fasting. Let's get the name firmly, please, in our consciousness, so that we can send our sister all of our love and support. She will need it, and she will succeed, and we will help her to succeed. So let's talk about that, please.
Absolutely, Santo. Her name is Chief Teresa Spence from the Attawapiskat Nation here in Canada. Like I said, her hunger strike began around December 10th, and she is still going strong on her hunger strike. How strong, I don't know, because, a month without real food can be quite a bearing to continue living. But the whole point of her hunger strike, as I understand it, is she is starving herself and she's hurting as the earth is. The whole point, people are so uninformed about Idle No More right now. I've had so many non-Indigenous people say to me, oh, it's just about handouts. The natives want more money. They want this. They want that. No, it is not about the money. It's not about wanting more. It's about the government, Crown Council, particularly the Crown, who obviously is serving England, honoring the treaties that were made so long ago. And this law or treaty of the Indian Act is supposed to be unbreakable, but Harper seems to think that he can change it himself. He wants to rip apart Canada piece by piece and let the whole world know that Canada and all its natural resources are open for business and for sale. Canada is not for sale. We have so many natural resources here, and he's trying to sell them all. We need these.
How is he doing that? Do you have any information about that? Can we talk about that too? Because this is what needs to be known. Once you know something, then it's amazing how it just carries forward and multiplies and is perpetuated. So can you talk about that? Do you have anything for us there?
Well, I do know that we do have this thing called a green belt here in Canada, and that is basically protecting farmland and forestry and whatnot against basically clear-cutting trees, building on these lands. They're actually supposed to remain untouchable. BC has a very, very, very rich soil. We live in a rainforest. We have top 5 best water source in the world. We have, and he and the rest of them, like, we had before Harper, there was, we have our Liberal government, which is within BC before they came in, and he was Premier Gordon Campbell. He tried to lift all the green belts so they could build, clear cut, rip down, make businesses or make things grow. The town I live in, I think, is about 90,000 people in the town. But 20 years ago, I don't even know if there was half that. They're trying to make the town I live in, which is a very small town, they're trying to grow it into a huge, disgusting city. They're trying to cram condominiums and apartment buildings everywhere. And the clear cutting, I can look out my window right now and look at the beautiful mountains all around my environment, my town. And I can see the mountains just clear cut it. It's like bare. The mountains bald because they're ripping the trees out. And they say that they're planting 2 trees for every one they take out of the ground or cut down. But the bottom line is I don't feel that that's really happening because all I see is take from the land and no replenishing.
Wow. Yeah, it's there's not much kindness to Mother Earth, not much mercy. No. They will rape her at will.
And that's what's happening, Santos. Right now, the natives here on the west coast of British Columbia and Canada here, most of them, and for however long back we can even begin to remember, their primary diet has been West Coast salmon. The primary staple in their diet is West Coast salmon. And they're only permitted to fish maybe a small handful of times per year, maybe for 48 to 72 hours at a time. And any other non-designated fishing outside these allotted times is considered poaching. And it will result in you being arrested and forced to attend a court hearing for the matter. There was a lady just in the last 4 months, I think, about when fall began, a lady from the Stolo Nation here went to court with her drum and a peaceful single-person demonstration due to the fact she was caught and charged with poaching, is what they called it, for fish. And she brought her drum into the courthouse, peaceful demonstration by herself. They told her drum was considered a weapon and it couldn't be permitted in the building. She peacefully refused to leave with her drum, and she was assaulted and attacked by officers, the bailiffs of the court, in the hallway on her way up to the courtroom. And how is it that there's bloody cameras all over the courthouse, in every courthouse? Why wasn't this lady's assault caught on tape?
Wow.
Trying to defend her right as a native to fish for food.
You see how sick we have become. This is a sickness. This is an indictment on this planet, really, or whoever it is that's running this planet, and we are, well, we're a part of it. You know, we're a part of it, and it's really not our fault, but we are a part of it. I mean, we shouldn't feel bad that we've contributed to it because we didn't know. You've got to wake up. You know, the dead shall rise. You know, that's why it was written in the scriptures, because it was talking about the fact that humanity would be in a state of unconscious spiritual death in the body. Bodies have a habit of doing that. Animal bodies have a habit of doing that. You forget who you are. You know, you think you are the animal, and you forget your divine nature. You give yourself a name, and off you go. So we've just come out of that, guys. Hello. We have just come out of death. And so we should be kind with ourselves, but we need to know that that's part of our doing, you know, in ignorant past lives, etc. It's part of our doing. But it was a kingdom of ideas that we built up, and it just doesn't work for us anymore. The corporation simply doesn't work. It gets out of control. It gets criminals latching onto it and profiting from and abusing from it, from the corporation. It turns human beings into persons or corporations with no rights. So it excludes your rights. It gives you privileges, services, and benefits. And people, and we went for them. We went for those, you see. We said, yeah, I'll have some benefits. I'll have some of those things, you know. But we gave away our rights. And so now we're waking up to this, and now it's time to reclaim them. So, but it's very, very sad to hear this, Jennifer. It really breaks my heart. It shows how really, really sick we are, that this Indigenous person was feeding herself, because that's what you do when you have a body. You feed it. And you should be able to do that anywhere in the universe for free. And someone comes along with a bit of paper and says, you have got to be processed legally because you did this thing whereby you're trying to save your body and keep it in life. You did it wrong. You did something. The whole process is wrong, that you're trying to stay alive. So you've got to come to this courthouse and be punished physically, because a statute is louder than the voice of a human being. We're sick. We are sick. And I'm saying that the we that I'm talking about is that part of us that's out there that has done this. Not we in our beautiful hearts as angels that we are, because there's only beauty there. We are angels of light, and that's what an angel is. Angle, angle, angel. So it's all about light. And let's attend to this sickness, shall we? Continue on, please, Jennifer.
Well, the thing that troubles me here is that, like I said, witnessing the water that my relatives were forced to, conditions they were forced to live in back east, which is 2 provinces over. I knew something was very wrong as a child, that I had clean drinking water straight out of the tap, but they had to drive, you know what I mean, half an hour, 40 minutes to go get their water. I knew, I'm like, if we're the best nation on earth, and that's what you're trying to brainwash us to believe, why can't you fix their water? Why can't you help these people, which are my people, my relatives, live better? if you guys have all this money to travel around the world and have $400 lunches while you're out traveling, why can't you spend some money to improve their water?
It's not about why can't they. It's they won't. They're arrogant. They don't care.
Why? Yeah, exactly. Why don't you?
Money's never the question. You know, when you stop and understand how the entire banking system works and
the banksters, right? Yes.
Yeah. Again, that's just a tool once again for being able to perpetrate the crimes of the criminal families. So no, really, what you're dealing with here is a level of arrogance, and I call it ELSE, elevated level of self-importance, where people take it upon themselves to count themselves as more important than another being on the planet that happens to bleed red also. Then that's where I draw the line. If you don't bleed red, well, one, you better prove it to me. And if you do bleed red, I'm going to need you to tell me exactly why you are more entitled to something from this beautiful Mother Earth Gaia than I or anyone else. And if you can't do that, well, then you're actually committing a crime against not just fellow humans, but against creation itself. Yeah, these guys, again, we have turned the corner. And the time is coming, and it's coming very quickly, where this arrogance is either going to dissipate, and they're going to take care of their own karmic issues, or karma will take care of it for them. And it's always about choice, and that's a free will choice. If your free will choice is to harm, then the golden rule says very, very clearly, that do unto others that which you wish upon yourself. You see? So obviously, if you're harming another, you're seeking harm. So have at her. I have no problem with the golden rule. I think it's beautiful. Of course, it's the golden rule for a reason. Go figure.
And that's one thing I was definitely taught as a child by my grandmother, who is the native in my family. That's where I get my native blood from, my father's mother, is to treat others how you would want to be treated in return. That's really, you know what I mean, one of the rules of thumb for life, common sense. I would like to read a couple of wise quotes from Chief Seattle. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. Humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. All things are bound together and all things are connected. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children.
Well said. That's truth upon truth.
Wow.
So what in the hell makes them think that they can poison, bludgeon, rape, and pillage on planet Earth, our Mother Earth, and think that she's not going to do a damn thing about it to pay us back later?
Well, here's the thing, too, and this goes out to the listeners again. The reason why they get away with it is because they know they can, because nobody's going to do anything. Everyone's going to sit around and they're going to have their popcorn, their movies, and their BMWs and their
double cheeseburgers, like Santos says.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna do that, and here's the thing: only when all of that suddenly disappears from before your eyes, and I assure you, you maintain the path you're on, it will, and boy, won't you be surprised. If you're doing nothing about changing this paradigm, well, this paradigm, once it changes, will do nothing for you. That's how it works. It's an ebb and flow. This is cosmic law we're dealing with, guys, and you're messing with it on such a level. Oh, by the way, we do have a caller. Would you like me to bring them on?
Yeah, please.
All right, one sec. Okay, caller, area code 215, first two numbers 76. Area code 21576. Do you have any questions or comments?
I have a comment.
Okay.
Okay, Santos, I really enjoy you, number one, and because of you, you enlightened me a couple of weeks ago about this problem with the Indians. And I went online and I found a few sites and I hooked up with them on Facebook. And every day I wake up, I get little messages from them. But I also found a magazine that they publish. It's called Indian Country. And you can purchase that magazine. It's very cheap. It's a 1-year subscription of 50 issues for $19.97, and it goes towards them.
Beautiful.
So... Right, I was going to say, I got my first subscription last week in the mail, and it is full of pages of information. that is just, you're not going to get it anywhere but in this magazine. Plus, you're going to support the Indian nation.
Yeah, supporting the truth, getting it out there. And there are a lot of wonderful Native papers that a lot of the stuff that you'll find in there. And again, one of the things I want people to be mindful of as well, within the Native communities, there are bought and paid fors as well. So you have to be very mindful of that. And a lot of the stuff that you're going to come across has been manipulated if it's not coming from what I deem to be the true Indigenous, the ones that are standing in the ancient laws. The ones that are standing in this garbage white man bullshit stuff, that to me is not a Native. That's someone that is bought and paid for and is trying to fix something within a broken system that they have no business being a part of and never were. And by fighting it, you're saying you're part of it. So anyway, that's beautiful. I love the idea of the magazine, and yeah, you're going to get a lot of hard-hitting truth from right at the heart of it.
Absolutely, and that's what I've been getting. It's a shame, the situation that the whole world is in today. It is a disgrace. I'm a person, I live in Philadelphia. I'm in the United States, and I was born in 1950. And as a child growing up, going to a Catholic school, we were taught to jump under our desk and hide from the atom bomb and this, that, and the other thing, and communism was so evil, and the fear was just struck into you. And you really did get a good education onto what socialism was and who the enemy was, this, that, and the other thing, and I just cannot understand how we got so far into this mess. I just don't understand it. I mean, people just have to wake up today. We are really in a bad way, a very bad way.
Yeah.
And all this pedophile stuff, all this sexual stuff, all these abortions, I mean, just the tear down of the human fiber, all the poison, the chemtrails, everything. It's unbelievable. I just cannot believe that it has gone this far, and it behooves me to put fear in my heart to think how far it'll continue to go. So I'm just hoping.
It stopped. There's no hope. There is no fear, and that's exactly what they want us to do. That tide has been turned. We've turned the wave. It's gone the other way now. This planet is awake. It is waking up in tens, hundreds of thousands, if not. Well, I know it's in the high millions now. So no, we've already turned that corner. So what we have to do is lose the fear mentality, and
right.
That we don't make a difference, because here's the thing, everyone listening, ye are gods. Ye are the one, okay? You're the one that this game is all about. Are you willing and ready to take the responsibility for that, or are you going to get stuck into your Cheetos? Your call.
Exactly. I mean, I approach people on the street and I ask them questions. When I look up into the sky and I see chemtrails, I'll say, what's that up there in that sky? And they'll look at me and go, what, where? And they'll look up and they'll go, I don't know. And I'll say to them, could that be a chemtrail? And they say to me, what is that? They don't know. People do not know. But I do my best to try and put the word out there. I really do. I have been knocked off Facebook I don't know how many times because of what I've said.
Yeah, they don't knock us off anymore. I will say that. And just to let everyone know, I'll leave you on the line here. No worries. I'm not pushing anyone away here. We've got 12 minutes left, Santo. Just want to let you know that in case you didn't see it in your Skype. But yeah, we have. Who are we talking to, by the way?
My name is Alice.
Your customary calling is?
My name is Alice.
Okay, your customary.
ALICE.
Okay.
And I'm calling in from Philadelphia, PA.
Beautiful. I'm trying to get people into the habit of stop saying my name is, because you don't have a name. You have a calling.
Okay.
You have a calling, hon, so your calling is Alice. So I'm trying to get people into new habits. And it works.
That's a beautiful one, too. I like that, Kate. Yes. That's great.
My customary calling is Kate.
Yep.
Yes.
I do not have a name. I have a way. I do not have a name. That you can take that one to your fictitious bank and try to cash it now. Oh, it's useless. Sorry about that. And Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And I got to tell you, all the king's horses and all the king's men, well, they're screwed.
Correct. Yeah. Well, I have to say, I've been very fortunate the past year to meet you guys. Seriously, it's a pleasure. And there's a lot of people around me that aren't quite as educated, and they don't know, and they don't understand, and don't want to know. I'm kind of a different creature with a different soul. I want to know everything because I know something is terribly wrong.
Well, I got to tell you, I do have to share this with you, Alice. It is really, really cool to be ignorant, apparently.
You're telling me. You have no idea. You have no idea with the trouble I got into at work and everything. I lost my job and everything over being against certain things that I know are wrong. I've had people get mad at me because they want the free handout. They want what's going on. They they just don't want it.
Yeah, they're going to get exactly what they want. Trust me.
Exactly, in the end they are. I know this. I'm a very educated person. I'm a nurse. And I've been around the block and back again, if you can put it that way. I've lived in poverty. I've pulled myself up through the bootstraps, so I've been on both sides of the fence. I understand what it is to be in poverty. I understand what it is not to have anything. But I also understand what it is to go out there and educate yourself and work hard and do the best you can with your means. You have a brain, use it.
That's what we do, hon. That's what we do. And we're
but
in this.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Definitely shared, my love. Definitely shared. Thank you so much, Alice. Great call.
Thank you. And I'm going to listen to the rest of the show.
Awesome. Thank you so much, love.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very encouraging. So, Jennifer, please, little more. I think we'll just talk about our Chief Teresa for the next 10 minutes, please, and because our thoughts are there so that we can give energy to her, and so her projects may be successful because she is standing there for us.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Santos. Teresa, in the last 72 hours, I believe, has actually got her will in order because she is so serious about her hunger strike and making these meetings and having the Harper criminal agree to start implementing and looking at some of these legislations and laws with the Native people. She's just got her will in order over the last few days because she, God forbid, she's prepared to die for her cause, for our cause, for all of us. And like I said, this does not, I don't know more, has everything to do with us as a people. Red, black, white, all of us. The medicine wheel is the white race, the red race, the black race, and the yellow race, which is Asian, Indians, blacks, and whites. And all of us as a people ultimately will be affected by this. And it's not about the natives wanting more handouts. It's about us trying to heal the hurt we've caused the earth. The government has done a great job screwing it up, clear cutting, poisoning the waters, the oil spills in the Gulf, and the native people are trying to tell them, you guys have done a wonderful job screwing it up over the last 100 years. Why don't you give it back to us and let us try and heal the hurt you've caused?
Couldn't agree more. She's standing up for family is what she's standing up. She's standing up for the family of humanity. And woe betide those that are willing to potentially take that blood on their hands, because that kind of blood never washes off. Never.
As a Native person, when we have our meetings and our talks and our get-togethers, first thing we usually say is to all my relations. All my relations means to all my family, immediate and extended. We're all family. We're all human beings. We all bleed the same. We all have flesh and blood. Our organs, our heart pumps the same way. We have to work together to make the world into the kind of place that you want to raise your kids and grandkids in, and I want to raise my kids and grandkids in. If we don't fix it now, there's going to be nothing left for them to have later. And what good is all this materialistic bullshit if you can't take it with you when your body deteriorates and you die? And I know that energy never dies, Santo, because I listened to you very carefully. But when this shell, our body, when it dies, what are we going to give to them if we poisoned it to the point where no one can live?
That's what you take with you. That's called karma. That's right. I've made a point of collecting karma coins throughout my lifetime.
Oh, my God, Kate, I've been preaching that for the last 2 months to my husband. I've been constantly trying to do everything I can, good deeds for my friends, whatever they need. If it's in my power, I'm there. And then my husband says, why are you doing all of this? And I said, karma coins.
Because you're awake, my love, because you're awake.
I have never been so awake in my life, Kate. I have been listening to Santos for well over a year, and I have never learned more in my life than I have from that man in the short time I have been learning from him. And the whole time I was in the education system in school, whether it been the white curriculum or the native curriculum, I've never learned so much in my life or been taught by the things that I've learned from Santo, rather than these materialistic morons that are teaching me bullshit that I'm never going to utilize in real life.
Yeah, well, unless you want to play in their system. And there you go, Santo. Look what you're doing. Would you just keep that up, please?
Yeah, let's do a little bit more of that then, shall we?
My husband and I lay in bed and listen to your lectures at night. Whether it's a new one we listen to or an old one, we'll listen to it 10 times over just to hear your voice when we lay in bed at night. It calms us. It gets us in a serene place, and it gets us unwound and ready to just drift off into a blissful sleep. We love you.
Yeah. Thank you, sister. Thank you. And, it brings me to the thought of, you're probably scratching around these days since Kennedy to find a presidential speech of substance which will probably equate to 10 minutes of anything in my presentations or on our radio shows for enlightenment. Now, and I'm being kind to them. You can get in 10 minutes of listening to awakened people that have the information that we have, you will learn more than you will learn from all the presidents in the last 40 years put together. You look for every scrap of thing that they've ever said or done, and try and get 3 sentences of anything with wisdom in there. They talk. They speak from a very controlled place. They are very, very serious about themselves. They really show an air of, importance and business-like procedures. There's something really wrong with presidents these days. They look like robots. They speak like robots. There's no wisdom. I mean, are these leaders? Once upon a time, a leader had a tongue. This is why I think it was the Celts. They would cut the tongue out of their victims in war because that was the chief tool of destruction. The tongue is more powerful than any other organ in the body. It is absolutely has all the power. And there they are. You see them. They have their presidential speeches, and it's all shit. That's all they talk about. They are empty-headed, robotic morons. There's no wisdom from these leaders because they're not leaders, and we need to get rid of them. We really need to get rid of them. Either they repent or they've got to go to jail. That's it. 2 choices. Take one.
Absolutely.
There's no other way forward. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bush, all you creeps, what do you want? Are you going to repent, or do you want to go in the jails that you built? Because we're pretty loving. We'll take repentance. but it's got to be it's got to be before the deed. But one thing is for sure: the day is coming in which they will be in jail. I promise you that, if they do not repent, because that has to be the universal way. It must end that way. It's already scripted. The universe, it's scripted. It's scripted by cosmic mind thinking, which comes from universal mind knowing, cosmic mind knowing. And that is who we really are. That's why we're speaking like this, because we're connected to that.
Exactly.
Anyway, look,
Santo, we got 45 seconds here. Just doing a quick wrap-up. We'll go past the time just to make sure everyone gets information, what have you. But I wanted to thank everyone for tuning in to Santos Bonacci here on Syncretism on Freedom Reigns Blog Talk Radio. And don't be afraid to stop by his work. And, of course, the links are going out for Teresa. And she will save the day. So we got 20 seconds left. Wrap her up, guys.
Jennifer, thank you.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you very much for having me on the show. I really appreciate you all giving me the opportunity to get out what I so deeply wanted to get out to the people. We must come together as a people to save what we call Mother Earth and what's left of it. We have to repair what damage has been done, or else we're all going to be screwed at the end of the day. I just want us to all come together, no governments, no police, no politics, no policy, no rules, and just come together as people, as a family, and make things better for the rest of us and the little ones that are yet to come.
Couldn't agree more, hon. Couldn't agree more. Beautiful, and don't be afraid to contact us, and we'll keep things keep that. Yeah, let's put it this way: the iron is hot in the fire. We'll keep it that way. So, by all means, absolutely, and thank you for coming on.
I was so incredibly nervous doing this. I've never done anything like this before.
Me either.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks, Jennifer. No, you did really well. Absolutely, really well. And tomorrow we also have a great guest. We have Ole from Sweden. Kate, you want to mention that before we close off, please?
Yeah, well, we're in the recording right now. Tomorrow night from 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time here in North America. Don't be afraid to tune in to Freedom Reigns again. It's Syncretism, and it's, what are we getting all these days? The Truth Posse or something? or the Syncretism Posse or something like that. Anyway, it's kind of fun. But by all means, Ole will be back. He was on Friday with us, and exposing names of the murderers that killed Kennedy and John Lennon and what have you. So it definitely worth a listen. So by all means, tune in. I guess it's midnight to 2 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and of course where you are, Jen, you're out in BC, so it'll be from.
Where it's just supper time right now, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be 4 to 6 your time, Pacific Standard. But anyway, thank you so much. Great job tonight, guys, and always an honor to sit in with guests and of course with you, Santo, and everyone else listening. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me, boys.
Yep. Thanks, Jennifer.
Boys? I'm a two-spirit. Get over it.
Oh, whatever you want to be called.
Whatever I am. I know. I love it. It's awesome. I love it.
You guys are awesome. That's what you are.
We have fun. So are you. Look at your mirror.
Oh, I know it.
Isn't it great?
And believe me, the things that Santos has brought to my attention since my husband and I just stumbled upon him, I can just not even tell you how it's changed how I think, how I live. I'm in the process of trying to wean my family off of all meat. I'm trying to get back to the vegetables. We want to be vegans. This will be done over a short period of time, and it's a daily progress, and I'm trying to make that every day to progress a little more as a human being and as a person.
And absolutely. And for those that are going to pick up this recording, since we are recording, what I would suggest is if you are a meat eater. I'll be kind. I usually call meat eaters death eaters, because you're eating death. What you
at
can
the moment,
do,
we're just chicken. At the moment, we're trying to get away from that now.
Yeah, no problem. What you can do is, and this goes back into the native position as well. Bless the meat with gratitude that it ascends through the gift of life that it has given into a higher form where it actually graduates further. So you're helping to leapfrog that soul, that spirit into a higher realm. So
in our teachings, as far as the meat we eat, it is our beliefs. We thank it for making its life available to us for our nourishment, and that is what we've done for forever. Is we thank it. It has a spirit, just like you and I have a spirit, and we thank it always.
Absolutely,
and that's the blessing.
Yep. So, and that's something for everyone if they're trying to wean themselves off meat, and if you still are eating it, that's fine. Just be mindful of the gift of life that was given to you, and that you elevate it in that gratitude. That's all.
I couldn't agree with you more. You're absolutely right.
And besides, it costs, I think, 10 times more to raise animals for feed than it does your vegetables anyway. So that's a taxing on water. It's ecologically devastating to have all those animals, and the horror of abattoirs and the karma of that. We could just really do without it now, instantly. All of that could just go, and you can live on tomatoes and apples and stuff like that. You absolutely can.
I do.
I'm going to be interviewing someone who eats nothing and drinks nothing at all, Genesis Sunfire on American Freedom Radio in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that one.
That's going to be awesome.
Absolutely, I wouldn't miss it.
Yep. All right.
Guys.
Well,
we'll leave off with that, and again, a beautiful show, beautiful energy, and nothing like giving the what for, and that's what we need to do, and we do it with love.
Thanks for listening, folks. Stay tuned for the next week.
Take care. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.